So I do think I gain a bit of a reputation as a case hater, because I've been critical of case in the past and everything. Um, and some people don't like when you're critical of brands that they enjoy or whatever. So I do think I've gained a bit of a reputation of a case hater, but I really do like case. I just wish they would do better, because they're charging usually like $70 for a pocket knife, and then it's got fit and finish issues, some of which aren't a huge deal and some of which sometimes are awful. And I've shown a couple knives that were just awful, and then most of my case knives are just kind of not amazing but also completely usable, and you know just little things. um, but I mean, the whole deal is like, you spend $70 on a pocket knife, you expect it to be fairly good and not like, not like you're rolling the dice on, man, I hope I get a good one. You should just, expect that you're gonna get a good one. Um, in a video I did recently, I did a video on this knife, this Baron Sun, Speaking about Knife Art exclusive. And this knife has some slight fit and finish issues, but this is also a $40 pocket knife. Now, for $40, you know, it's not that big of a deal, and if you buy like Rough Rider knives or whatever, spending under $20, you expect to have some fit and finish issues. But when you're spending as much as you spend on average case knife, you expect it to be put together a lot better than a lot of times than they are. Now, that being said, this knife I have in front of me here is pretty much perfect, which I'm happy about because I really want Case to do well because, once again, American company, Pennsylvanian company, owned by Zippo, who I also like, and based in Bradford, Pennsylvania. And if you don't know, I do live in Pennsylvania, so I like to support, Pennsylvanian businesses and everything. So I still do buy case knives. Now, I watched a Tobias Gibson video on his medium case toothpick. He got the, what was that one? The green apple one, which is beautiful, the green apple bone, but not carbon steel. And I'm a big fan of carbon steel. So I saw that they had the medium toothpick in this pocket worn gray bone, which I have another knife in this cover material. That one's not exactly something I love, but the cover material itself is pretty cool. The pocket worn just basically means they kind of just buff it over so that it looks like basically the idea is it's supposed to look like it was in your pocket for a long time. But anyway, I saw Tobias Gibson, who's a big fan of the toothpick, do a video on his case medium toothpick in the green apple smooth bone, which once again is a beautiful bone, but it's stainless steel, and I'm not a huge fan of stainless steel. Um, but once I saw his video and his knife seemed pretty good, I'm like, well, I'm gonna order that gray bone one, I guess. And this knife is almost perfect. Let's open it up here. See the long, slender clip blade here. Just got smudge all over the blade and everything. So you can see here, really long, slender clip blade. I didn't really look at the grinds on this blade. How's the grinds? Pretty good. Not perfect, but grinds are one thing that I'm not super critical of. Some people are. I'm not. I got mineral oil all over the blade because I was trying to clean out the action a little bit. Let me see if I can wipe some of that off there. Okay, so case, obviously case, and then their dot system and all that. Just normal oval case shield. Um, Once again, this cover material or handle material is very good looking. This side, I like this side more than this side. This side's a little too light for me, but that's not something I'm super critical either of. Is covers matching perfectly. Some people are super critical about everything. Me, I just want a usable knife that is put together fairly decently. This knife, as I've discussed, is pretty much perfect. The blade centering. Okay, so it's a little off to one side. So, if you're really seriously upset about blade centering on a traditional pocket knife, which I am not. Now, modern knives are a little different because you can adjust them and everything. But on a traditional pocket knife, My opinion on blade centering is it doesn't really matter, and the only time that I really care is if it's scraping a liner. And even then, even if it's just barely scraping the liner, it's not a big deal. But this one is nowhere near scraping that liner. There's a good bit of room there. I don't know if I can really show it. Yeah, I think you guys can see that there's a good bit of room there between it and that liner. So not concerned about that at all. Um, the back spring and liners. See if I can get it here. So maybe a slight gap there. You get focus on the knife and not my hands. That would be good. See, unfortunately, these case knives are so high polished that getting it to like focus on the knife under a light is a little difficult sometimes. Can we focus on the pocket knife instead of my hands, please? No, that's focusing on the background. Okay. Um, but basically this, the back spring and liners and stuff, there might be a slight gap here. Certainly nothing serious. And there's no gaps the rest of the way. So that's cool. Um, there might be just, you know what? No, I'm not even going to call that a gap. It looks good. So the handle covers are fit pretty well. You can see the rivet here, which is interesting. I haven't done anything with the bolster because this knife didn't have any blade play, but you can see the uh, the pivot pin. That's what that's called. You can see the pivot pin a little bit, which is interesting. This knife does not have any blade play, so that's cool. Blade play is something that's pretty easily fixed, but it's nice when you don't have to fix it. Um, so anyway, this knife is wonderful, and like I said, I think I do gain a bit of a reputation as a bit of a case hater. But to be honest, I actually really do like Case. I just want them to do better and work on their quality control and everything because, I want them to continue to be in business and succeed in everything. Which, I mean, if they're going to keep producing knives that are uh, less than acceptable, they're not going to continue to um, be in business for forever. Um, Now, of course, that might not even be true. I don't know. A lot of people just buy case knives because they think they're cool, and they are. They are very cool knives and everything. But I'm very happy with this knife. Um, Pretty much the um, end of the day, I'm happy with this knife. It's pretty much perfect. There are, as with most traditional pocket knives that aren't like Great Eastern Cutlery or $100+ you could probably pick apart little things. But for me, and this being a case knife and, around $70 or so, this knife is pretty much perfect as far as I'm concerned. Um, Very happy with it. Even the action's pretty good. It's not like crazy cutlery or anything, but the action is pretty good. Knives put together well, so I'm happy with that. The pocket worn gray is cool, and I like the fact that they offer the medium toothpick in carbon steel. Now, that's the other thing. Case recently switched to just calling their carbon steel instead of chrome vanadium. So I'm not sure if they actually changed what steel they were using or if they just decided just to call it carbon steel now instead of chrome vanadium to, not confuse people and everything. Um, so if anybody knows about that, let me know. I know the Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive case knives that came out recently were labeled 1095 carbon. So maybe that's what they're using across the board now. I don't know. Um, but I'm happy to see more offerings in carbon steel because I really enjoy carbon steel. And usually I don't buy case knives in stainless. So, um, yeah, pretty happy with this medium toothpick. Well, actually, I'm very happy with this medium toothpick. Um, and yeah, it's just a neat little knife. Go over there and check out Tobias Gibson's video on his green apple bone medium toothpick. That knife is very pretty. It's just in stainless steel, which I am not super interested in. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video on this Case medium toothpick in carbon steel. And this knife is wonderful. And I hope Case, his quality control is going to improve. And, all of the knives will be like this, because if they get to that point, um, I will have no problems with recommending people buy Case knives. Um, just right now, they're just a little bit hit and miss, but this knife is perfect, so I'm happy with it. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a good day.